firm conclusion that she is the victim of murder.
The specific date of Diane Scott's disappearance remains a subject of debate, though an official report was filed on May 24, 2001. Diane, a 39-year-old mother, had apparently dropped her children off at school that morning but failed to return to pick them up. Detective Brian Jackson from the Dauphin County District Attorney's Office remarked, "That raised suspicions. I mean, what mother forgets to pick up their child from school?" Concerned, Diane's loved ones quickly shared the news that she hadn't collected her children. In response, her brother, Kevin Thomas, rushed to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, determined to investigate. Kevin recalled, "The moment I arrived in Harrisburg, I had a gut feeling that something was amiss. She's not the type to vanish. Despite authorities' efforts, their investigation only pointed to one person of interest, whose identity remains confidential as they have not been charged with any offense." Detective Jackson disclosed that this person of interest had been repeatedly questioned over the years, but no breakthroughs had emerged. "We keep hitting dead ends," Jackson stated. 2 decades later, the mystery of Diane Scott's disappearance remains unsolved. One puzzling clue was the absence of a large tub from Diane's home. Given Diane's petite stature, it is suspected that something may have transpired at her residence. Detective Jackson expressed his belief that Diane is no longer alive. Her family members routinely check with morgues and coroner offices whenever unidentified bodies are discovered, hoping for closure. "I don't think I'll ever find peace until I discover what happened, and I'll always hold on to that glimmer of hope that she might return one day," Kevin said. At the time of her disappearance, Diane was 4 feet 11, weighed 109 pounds, had black, dark brown hair, brown eyes, and a birthmark on her back. She would be 58 years old at the time of this publication. Anyone with information about Diane's disappearance is urged to contact the Harrisburg Bureau of Police at 717-255-3131 or their local authorities.
To the firm conclusion that she is the victim of murder.
A case gone cold.
The perpetrator got lucky.
For more than 2 decades.
There are near-perfect crimes, but there are not perfect crimes.
Law enforcement on the cusp of finding justice.
We're never going to let it go.
While a shaken family waits for closure. And they need your help.
Please come forward.
She was thunder, but she was
sweet, yeah.
A sweet person.
4'8" and fierce.
She was a little bit of a fireball, but she was still the kindest person ever.
Diane Thomas Scott was known to be a church-going woman and a great mother. She was last seen dropping her kids off at school.
I would have hugged her tight, held her close and tell her that I love her and, that I will always be there for her no matter what.
Diane Scott disappeared in May of 2001.
Former lead investigator Victor Rivera says the case was suspicious from the start.
Some neighbors who heard her on the phone arguing with somebody.
When Diane didn't show up to pick up her daughter Malika from school, her best friend Sonia Palmer knew something wasn't right. She went right to Diane's home on Jefferson Street in Harrisburg.
The white sweater was on the floor, and her slippers were kind of askew. They were in the living room. The TV was on, her purse, her keys, everything was there.
This was not a person who left that home voluntarily.
Investigators say they have a person of interest in this case, who we will not name since they have never been charged.
The common statements that were made throughout the course of the investigation were completely out of place for a person who lost a loved one.
Investigators find suspicion in a missing cooler from the person of interest's home.
It's large enough that you could fit someone in it if they were small, and this was a very small woman.
Diane's family facing tormenting questions for decades.
I'm sorry. I need to know. Honestly, I really do. I need to know.
I think that the perpetrator got lucky and deposited her remains in such a way, whether it's a landfill or something like that, where she's never ever going to be found.
Nonetheless, investigators crave to close the case that's taunted them for years.
We think we know what happened.
We have an excellent opportunity of solving this case now.
But no one needs answers more than Diane's loved ones.
Please just give them whatever you can, so we can bring closure to my family.
Jocelyn Howard, WGAL News 8.